Counsel, we'll begin session in a few moments.
I was like West on before trial. Richard Thompson, Harvard Law, class of 1989.
A pleasure. Romy Bar Papa, Kumbadisa, 300 CE.
Is that a state school?
Babylon.
Order, order. Court is now in session. The court will now hear the case of State v. Anderson. Mr. Anderson stands accused of first-degree murder. The prosecution may begin when ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is going to be an open and shut case. The state has amassed an overwhelming amount of evidence that Mr. Anderson did indeed murder his ex-business partner in cold blood, and according to his own statement, would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those meddling kids and their talking dog. Without further ado, I would like to call my first witness to the stand, Mr. Harrison, the state's forensic scientist.
I solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me on with it.
Mr. Harrison, can you tell us what you discovered over the course of your investigation?
Certainly, we found Mr. Anderson's fingerprints on the murder weapon at the scene. They're without a doubt a perfect match for the defendant.
That is all, Your Honor.
Your witness, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Let me ask you a few simple questions, Mr. Harrison. Would you say that in your experience, the majority of fingerprints found at all crime scenes belong to my client? So the majority of incriminating fingerprints do not belong to my client. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, by his own admission, Mr. Harrison has proven that it is statistically certain that fingerprints found at the scene do not belong to my client. Because most of them don't. Well, I'll be asking the questions, Mr. Harrison. Here's another one. Would you say, Mr. Harrison, that in your experience, the majority of guilty murderers found behind bars are my client?
Well, no.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it is a simple thing to combine these majorities to show that it is mathematically impossible for my client to have committed this crime.
That doesn't make any sense.
I'll allow it. This court will assume for the time being that statistics are not only about the numbers.
No, that's just
Thank you, Your Honor, the defense witness.
Order! The prosecution, when ready.
Your Honor, the prosecution would like to make clear to the jury some details regarding the crime. Mr. Anderson and the deceased were business partners working in the same office. Mr. Anderson had the means, the motive, and the opportunity to commit this crime. If the dead man could speak, he would tell us what we already know, that Mr. Anderson is guilty.
Defense?
Counselor, you just mentioned the victim of this crime is currently dead. Is that right?
Yes.
Well, seeing as the victim is currently dead, I believe that the status is enough of a reason to assume that he is in fact always dead.
Counselor, you're on thin ice bringing such a flimsy case before you. Knowing the murder is taking place.
It's clear that there was a murder.
Well, Counselor, seeing as the victim of this murder is currently dead, it's not so clear to this court. The prosecution, when ready.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I would like to examine the claim put forward by the defendant. When first questioned, the defendant claimed that he had never heard of the victim. Mr. Anderson was then presented with his own phone records showing extensive communication with the victim, a framed picture of the two of them with the caption, "Best Friends for Life," and was then presented with their matching friendship bracelets. Upon being presented with this information, Mr. Anderson opted to change his story, claiming that at the time of the murder, he had been in Argentina sightseeing the Eiffel Tower. I don't think I need to say more.
Defense?
My client claims that he could not have committed the murder because he was in Argentina at the time touring the Eiffel Tower. However, if my client really wanted to lie to his advantage, he could have claimed that the victim had died by running into a tree. And had he claimed so, my client today would still be able to marry a priest.
Though admittedly, I too share the appreciation of a display of such pure and rational logic. Bravo, sir. Bravo.
When do we start talking about priests?
Try to keep up, counselor. It's not difficult. I think it's clear to everyone in this courtroom that Mr. Anderson wouldn't throw away his ability to marry a priest just to go touring the Eiffel Tower in Argentina. And now it's time for closing arguments. The prosecution, when ready.
Your Honor, some new evidence has just come to light. We now have a picture of the defendant in the act of murder. Your Honor, this is a picture showing that Mr. Anderson is guilty. This is a knife, this is the victim. He is guilty.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this picture proves nothing but that my client was in fact stationary at the time. That means there's only a 50-50 chance that my client is guilty, and maybe the prosecution is willing to convict a man on a 50-50 bet, but I, for one, am certainly not! Your Honor, I move to throw this whole case out of court!
Order, order! In the opinion of this court, a grave injustice has narrowly been avoided, thanks to the defense's irrefutable and conclusive logic. Mr. Anderson, on behalf of the entire justice system, I would like to apologize to you for this ordeal. And you, counselor! You would take a man to court knowing full well that at the time of the crime he was standing still? I'll see you debarred! Case dismissed!
We just got this one in. Doesn't look so good. He was skydiving and his parachute didn't open. We need a surgeon with impeccably steady hands, a traditional approach to medicine, and an attention span which can last for hours. Steady hands, tradition, and attention span. On call today is a Dr. Menachem Liebtag. Sorry. You probably thought that was my accent. What you think was where'd you go to medical school? Harvard, sir. Oh, that's good. I wrote the curriculum.
I'm Dr. Waxman. I'm scheduled to be operating here. I'll be honest, I never really know what to do with these things, so I'll leave it up to you, and we can have discussions and sing a few songs. I guess I could use some surgery over there.
I think we should do the surgery, right? But before we operate, we have to know why we're operating. Are we operating because his parachute didn't open, or are we operating because his parachute didn't open? Well, it's like a Hakira. It's really cool. Get it?
That's not what he asked. You never answered the question. Listen, let's see Coom.
But we just got here. We have to know why we're even...
Let's see Coom. As far as I can see, we now have in front of us a few dozen options to understand why we're operating on this fellow, and we can think of a few hundred not conveniences. Option 1 of 37. The fellow's parachute simply did not open, and on some plane, the operation is part and parcel of that some horrendous blunder, and they're fundamentally inseparable. Option 2 of 37.
Doctors, this patient clearly needs surgery. Can we please hurry up?
Good. I agree with the question. Let's begin. It's now 11:30, and surgery should be over in about 13 hours, but I'll go overtime if I want to. It'll be painful, bloody, and there's a good chance we'll just bungle the whole thing anyways.
Like Downey and Tina, you're right with me. Okay, which organ is that?
Those are his lungs, doctor.
Oh, see, that's what he's doing. Okay, keep your finger here, and then now cut it over here. See, isn't that cool? I'm not saying he doesn't have any lungs. I'm saying he might actually end up breathing better if he didn't have any lungs. You know yourself, it's gotta be. But in Detroit, you can't say that type of thing. That people breathe better without lungs, so they'll take away your medical license.
Okay, I didn't understand most of that, and I don't think you did either. But at the end, there you actually said something good, and I'll explain why I didn't.
Doctors, please just start helping this man. I think he has some broken ribs.
was.
So now, if I understand correctly, our assistant here is positing this new extreme position that in his opinion, broken ribs are the single most dangerous injury which the entire field of medicine has ever dealt with. Across the board. And that even the patient here came with his head completely decapitated. Sorry. We should first check to see if there are any broken ribs first. Am I understanding your position correctly?
Well, no, I didn't mean it like that.
And how many broken ribs does this patient have? Has anyone counted?
Well, that depends on what you think is a rib. Isn't really a foot. I counted 8 broken ribs, doctor.
Ah, what more than 7? That's very significant.
Yeah, because that's how many ribs we need to fix. No, that's how many ribs we need to fix. Not how many ribs we need to fix. Because really, there are no ribs. Or really, any skeleton, but that's complicated. Where were we? Alright, I was explaining that if it was a slightly clearer day, we'd probably be able to save his life. So, maybe next.
Yeah, for once I agree. It's a bit cold in here today for life-saving. Not yet, huh?
I have 4.
Ah, 3 less than 7. Alright, let's see. And then conclude. I can think of many possibilities for why this patient is now dead. However, for the sake of argument, I would like to put the blame completely on Dr. Leaptag, subscribing to a system what we'll call extreme medical heresy. Now, I know that he doesn't actually think this, but we'll assign this vision to him anyways because I want to.
Not too often. Okay, we're gonna go find some real medical doctors. I think Dr. Chopa's on call today. Sometime?
Yeah, that.
Alright. Hello everyone and welcome to Weekend Update. I'm Jakob Bronstein with the news. Before we begin, I'd just like to remind our audience that we will be live updating the ongoing count of Ramadan pepper spray victims. At this time, Ramadan has pepper sprayed no less than 60,000 people. And we will keep you up to date on that throughout the show. And here are this week's top stories. Ramadan was recently approached by representatives of Giorgio Armani and Calvin Klein to develop his own line of men's fragrance to be called pepper spray. The new fragrance will hit stores and sensitive parts of the face later this month. Picking up the slack from recent controversies, Jewish programmers have released a new iPhone app which finally allows women to wear tefillin on Shabbos. We await the release of their update later this year, which will finally allow women to eat tefillin on Yom Kippur. The size of our very own Moshe Tarragon's online data footprint has recently surpassed the rest of the entire internet combined. Tarragon hit this historic benchmark after uploading his last 4-minute Parsha Meetup, part 3 of 7.
7?
Hey, Vera Waxman, it's not that significant. And why aren't you wearing any pants?
I agree with your question.
Other popular online Tarragon Shiurim series include Random 12-Second Thoughts I Had in the Shower, Monday Night Reflections on Brooklyn Gang Life, When Romance Fails, Wedding Proposals on YU Torah, and To Selfie or Not to Selfie, of course, to Selfie. Moving on to film and movie news. Casting for the new Star Wars movie has recently been released, with our very own Jonathan Zering and Alex Seekin to play R2-D2 and C-3PO. MTA has been cast as uncredited background extras. The new Exodus movie has come under much criticism for its very modern divergences from the classic biblical story. For example, in the movie, there are 10 natural consequences of global warming, and the Carbon Pesach does not involve any harm to animals. Furthermore, Moshe is Paro, Paro is God, and God is a transgender vegetarian woman. Rabbi Zach praised the movie in his review, calling it what he considers a pretty close read of the text. On to weather. An update from the blog of Barry Lynn. By next Thursday, Alon Shvut will be hit by what he calls a Siberian polar vortex of snow death, leading to the largest winter storm in our planet's history, and Mati deciding to close yeshiva on Friday afternoon. Mr. Lynn notes his reliable sourcing for the upcoming storm, where Moshe Lichtenstein spotted wearing a turtleneck sweater. With Daniel Thwaites' recent engagement, much attention has turned to one of the most awkwardly enlightening chugim offered in our yeshiva, Rav Schreiber's Hilchot Ishut. Here to talk about the chug, Rav Schreiber himself. Welcome to the show, Rav Schreiber.
Thank you. And I just want to say, it is so good to be here. I'm so happy to be here. You have a great show. You are truly blessed.
Well, thank you, Rav Schreiber. Can you tell us a little about the chug?
Thank you so much. You are so kind. Oh, shucks. In my book, I try to give over as much information as I can in the form of Maaseh Shahayas. For example, Maaseh Shahaya. There was this one wedding where it's Mesader Kiddushin, where the chuppah actually caught fire during the Kiddushin. The whole thing was totally ablaze, and the long trailing part of the collar's beautiful dress had also caught fire. And I, momish, wasn't sure if we could put the fire out, because I thought maybe some of the water might up diluting the wine in the kos shel bracha. Or if I tell you, the chuppah was going up in flames. It was mamish a real shiloh. So I asked Rav Aaron, and in his wisdom he was Mako, and he said that we could put the fire out before the kala was burned alive. You can see the real human sensitivity he brings to his psak. Mamish, Allah Maisa.
Trevor, that's quite the story.
Thank you so much for letting me tell it. Actually, I'm afraid I have to go now, or I'll miss my share of Aaron Lichtenstein Seder with my youngest son.
Oh, how old is he?
He's 6. We started him on Rav Lichtenstein a little later than his siblings did, but he begs me to learn this stuff with him. And you know, with parenting, you just do what you can.
Trevor, how are you so good?
Well, that's simple. I just follow Rav Lichtenstein. Always make sure to smile, and lots of morphine.
Rav Yoel Ben Nun and Rav Meidan have recently published an article based off some psukim from Divrei, proving that the city of Yerushalayim is not located where we generally think it to be, but is actually somewhere in the vicinity of Quebec. The interpretive duo have also proven from Divrei Yamim that up is down, black is white, and triangles are round and know how to dance. The manhunt for fugitive chassid Hudi Chinsky continues today, with no results so far. Last week, Hudi was indicted by a Beis Din made up of Rav Litag, Rav Bazak, and Rav Bazak's 8-year-old son for preaching what they called potentially dangerous religious material, as well as public and shameless displays of spiritual happiness. In order to squelch any potential religious inspiration, the Chinsker Rebbe was sentenced to attend a series of shiurim on Ribbis in the Modern Age, given by Rav Dani Wolf. But he opted to go on the run, and was last spotted trying to light candles for a tish while underwater in Yeri's mikvah. After observing the popularity of Shir Daled's weekly Daf Kesher, this year's Shana Aleph has taken the initiative to print their own publication, entitled Nushim. The publication is known for its quality reporting, sending its staff into Yerushalayim on Thursday nights for exclusive on-the-scene interviews with real live Nushim. Rav Mordechai's homemade wine, Pachad Mordechai, has recently won the coveted Wine Taster's Prize for most unfriendly brand name for a wine. Pachad Mordechai even beat out Rav Dick's brand, which he calls, "The tish is over, get out of my house." Another interesting chug being given in our yeshiva is Rav Moshe Lichtenstein's Shana Bet chug on the ideology of modern orthodoxy. Here to speak about the chug is Rav Moshe himself. Wow, Rav Moshe, this is really a new look for you.
Thank Thanks, dog. I'm trying to show what I think modern orthodoxy is really about.
Oh, so like the philosophy and the ideology.
No, see, that's just boring. Real modern orthodoxy is about wearing a hat, kicking back and playing some good ball. Just chilling.
So no philosophy.
You sound like those guys who come to my hood, a bunch of nerds. It's like this. I tried to tell them that modern orthodoxy is bad about talking to girls. It's actually about watching HBO. You know, you need to strike a balance, you know, real or she move. But heavy on modern, you feel me? But all they keep asking me about philosophy and Shakespeare and humanities, like a bunch of nerds.
So, does this new perspective have any implications for the yeshiva?
No doubt. If I can quote something James once wrote.
Oh, okay. You mean William James, 19th century religious philosopher.
No, LeBron James. He wrote that success is about relationship and practicing your free throws. I'll be honest with you, I have a bit of a problem concerning plans for Kainsman.
Okay, you mean like which Mesapta for the yeshiva to wear?
No, I mean real plans. My heart tells me to go on a road trip with my boy Joe Wolfson. He's a real chiller. But my mind tells me to apply for a job as sports staff.
Okay, moving the discussion back to the hook. It doesn't sound like a lot is actually taught.
Don't misunderstand me. It's a very substantial code. I just want to make sure to go over some Basic. I sound like this. I'm just a man for 3. I usually make that shot in the hood. Zehu.
Okay, promotion what we say, ladies and gentlemen.
Can I borrow this?
Ramosha, hands off my nusha. Okay, before we wrap up, let's just take a last look at the Ramadan pepper spray count. Okay, whoa, okay. You know, that might actually be every individual in the Middle East, I think. Wait a second.
Oh God! Why are we doing wine? Spray in top meetings.
Don't wait.
Hey, Abby, what's the egg and coconut ladle?
Seriously? What's the egg and coconut ladle? It's real English.
It means what's up?
I've got an interview to do with this new recruit who we really want coming here next year. We're brewing Tarek is also after this guy, so I gotta nail this interview.
Why not just let Otto Tarragon do his Facebook thing?
No. I told Rip Tarragon I'm not giving him back his iPad until he defriends those 8th graders and stops trying to start a social network in YU Torah. Don't worry, I have a secret weapon I'm going to try on this kid. Last week, I read that article that's been going around about those 36 questions which make people fall in love automatically. So I had our own list of questions written up which I'm going to use to make this kid fall in love with the yeshiva and the idea of being a Gush guy.
So, who wrote these emotionally sensitive questions?
Well, I went to the yeshiva's expert on this sort of thing, Rav Mordechai, Rav Bick, Rav Bezad.
Ellie, I'll be honest, that sounds really bosom level. It means weird. It's real English.
No, the weird part is going to be that I have to get him to stare into Rav Aaron's eyes for 4 straight minutes.
Good luck.
Oh, hello. Hey, what's the hell on coconut ladle? I mean, what's up? I'm Nelly Weber. You can have a seat, and we'll get started. By the way, do you happen to be considering any other yeshiva besides ours?
Yeah, I'm actually trying to decide between Gush and Hakotel.
Oh, Hakotel, yes. It's a great place. A really great place. It's a great place. Beautiful place. For example, have you seen their fish pond?
I don't think they have a fish.
Oh, right. That's right. That's too bad, because fish ponds are pretty neat. You know, because we happen to have a really nice one, which guys learn next to. I'm sure you've seen the pictures. You know, Hakotel is a great place. A really great place. And a lot of guys do very well there, but I really just get the impression you're a real true Gush guy.
What do you mean?
Well, let me ask you some questions and you'll see what I mean. For example, if you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be?
Well, it depends on how you understand trees. What was that?
The Gush guy responding the only way he knows how. Let me try another one. How do you feel about universal hashgacha prati?
Well, the Rambam would deny that term as more devout like going back to time. Okay, I've never learned that Rambam himself.
Let's keep going. If you were to design the perfect and superior Beit Midrash.
Windows, tons of windows with a staircase in the middle and one on either flank. There's more windows than a solid wall in the back. Why am I picturing it flying around and laying eggs?
Let's do some think fast questions.
Okay, sure.
Summer plans.
Stoner Mosheva. No, I'm not a socialist.
What color is that dress on must be?
There is no dress.
Jewish-
Philosophically speaking.
Jewish role model.
The Rav.
No, but seriously.
Spinoza. Who's Spinoza?
Torah, how many authors?
4. No, 1.
It's very
It's Baron!
I think my point has been made. Alright, for the last part of this manipulation interview, it's been a long-standing tradition to have all applicants stare into Aaron's eyes for 4 straight minutes.
That seems logical.
At the picture, please. Keep your eyes on the picture.
Wow, Ellie, you're right. Really getting some pretty intense emotions right now.
Yeah, Reviron can have that effect on people.
I've never felt this way about anyone.
You mean a Torah institution, right?
Ellie, are you doing anything tonight? Private vibe?
You know, I have a lot of new sweater vests to try on. Wait, you guys happening again? Alright.